We are going live. Okay. So we are setting up a podcast. So whatever you want to do, we just want to be able to move you back where I can see you too. Is it going to work? So far, so good. I see me. I don't see you. So can you like lean in some? How's this?
So we bring it closer to me. Oh, you're right.
Yeah, I think we have to go further.
Oh, this is cool.
Yeah.
And we can bring
So
your...
we're on Share Hip Through Art's Facebook page, because then you can save it from a page, or you can repost it on YouTube.
Excellent.
So this is the art of podcasting. Share Hip Through Art. We focus on.
Is it recording already?
Yeah.
Hi.
Yeah. And we can fix it later.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so usually I have the questions. So do you have any questions for me? We're talking about just podcasting. Or you want me to just interview you? Do you have any podcast questions for me? How to podcast? What is podcasting?
Why did you start podcasting?
Well, I had a stroke 3 years ago, and podcasting helped my brain heal because I have to edit the audio, and it also helped me heal from hearing all the wonderful work that everyone's doing. So I called it good stuff because there's a lot of negative things going on in the news, and I'm like, I want to do positive work.
When I heard you share your story, I was like, I need to connect with you.
Wow.
I was like, because we're both like, that's why I'm like going live and trying to get like social media and like all that. I was like, we need some positivity. There's so much negative.
Totally.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right. Cool. So we are setting up. Very cool. We're setting up. See, if you bring your microphone closer to you.
Test.
Good. Excellent. And we'll get started. So I just push record and then we just get started. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.
I'm so excited to speak with you. Wait. Sorry. All right, take two. Please introduce yourself.
So, the world is better with you in it.
Oh.
That comes before my name, because you need to digest that. So, I'm Judith Veers, and I'll let you ask that question.
Okay. Please introduce yourself. What is your business?
Okay.
Yes. What is your business and what is your mission in the world?
There you go. So, mission in the world is, sharing hope.
Mm-hmm.
That's the foundation, is just sharing hope. So in February 2021, we had a suicide very close to somebody we love, and we're close to their whole family, and it just kind of shook me from the stay-at-home mom life to this is a mission I care about. And I think everyone has a mission they care about, and everything has kind of branched out from there. So suicide prevention is the heart. So share hope through art. When I do books, I do everything. I do the suicide prevention walk. The AFSP does Out of the Darkness walks across the whole country. And I do the one in Kayla County where we give out painted rocks and positive buttons. And that grew into how do I make this where I can maintain it when my kids are in school. And someone said, go renew your social work license. You'll get a free office and you'll get paid and bill insurance. So I followed the lead and found, I'm now at Healing Hearts Carol, and we accept certain insurances, and I get to work individually with people, and we do groups, and I can, basically where I work, if it's mental health, we can create it. So I want to do things based on need. So they're yeah.
What is Healing Hearts Carol?
Healing Hearts Carol is a private mental health provider. So we are in Westminster, Westminster, Maryland, USA, in case this goes global, and we are upstairs of Home Goods. We have an office. We have just myself, my supervisor. We have another little office that may become somebody's. Then we have a location that's tons of art supplies in our waiting room. So, yeah, a mental health provider, and each clinician has their own specialty. And so mine is if you're dealing with depression, if you're dealing with loss, if you're dealing with anxiety, any age. I only accept Blue Cross Blue Shield, Cigna, and Care First. And I started doing the groups because people are out of network. I'm like, I can charge you a lot less if it's a group. So just to kind of umbrella more people to help.
And what was your origin story? Because I know that you had yeah. So I'm a nerd. I didn't tell you about that. So I'm a nerd, and I care about like Marvel and like superheroes, and I see you as a superhero. And I know that there's something that hits your heart. So I know that there was a suicide in your family, a couple suicides. But where did you get that drive to help people?
So I am my mother's daughter. So my mom is out of the box thinker. When I was in middle school, she became a massage therapist. You know, when I was 18 or 19, she's like, I started a mentoring program with Baltimore City Youth, bringing them home, and I did that for a year. Like, so every weekend we have these groups. It was like affiliated with the Door and Solid Rock Ministries in the heart of Baltimore. So I bring like, we had a big station wagon, the one, you know, the old-fashioned ones where the back seat faces out, and you know, so we filled it. So there's like 3 to 5 kids almost every weekend I'd bring home. And that helped me get my life together because I was already like drinking when I was younger and teen. And that was kind of like, I went from drinking to like, we were going on hikes every weekend or rollerblading and like put all my, so much energy when I was young to good use and like built friendships. And my mom ended up being like, well, we're thinking of doing foster care, but we would need the room you use because the kids would spend the night. And with more girls, you know, so that, and I was kind of like, okay. And then my mom said she counted over 50 kids within like 3 or 4 years before we adopted my siblings that came sometimes on weekends. So it might just be like 4 kids a weekend. But she was just always, all my friends, if they had a problem, went to my mom, and, you know, so she's just an amazing human being. So I feel like that's like my origin story. So being from Baltimore City, where like I worked in the Door and just a mentoring program and like after school program, and then and then I guess after she died, I had a bad incident at where I was working where like I was like a supervisor it was an awful incident that led to me in the hospital like a month after finding out what happened, being suicidal. So it's like, oh, I got my grad degree, I'm working, and then it was kind of this backstabbing like awful incident, and I never dealt with like mean people before tried to get me fired, and I was like, I didn't do anything, like it was just this awful, like, I would say bullying, looking back on it. And, so that kind of, like, gave me imposter syndrome. And, like, I started Baltimore do-gooders beforehand. And it was, like, this online thing where I could, like, I promoted the volunteer network. And it was huge. And, you know, huge following. Just, like, it was huge in grad school. So all that kind of came tumbling down. And I dealt with, I ended up kind of like carrying on a little bit, working a little bit, but then it just kind of, I'd say I lost a decade of like work because of it. So it was like mental health. So it went from my own journey to my own like a decade of dealing with like depression, suicidal thoughts, imposter syndrome, like am I good enough? How is my story gonna matter? To kind of rebuilding a little bit, and then it just being destroyed again. And but I've been in therapy 7 years now.
Nice.
Yeah, and it's kind of like that imposter syndrome's kind of, I would say that voice went away when we lost somebody, because I'm like, so what if I keep doing things and people think I'm crazy or weird, but what if it helps one person one day not die by suicide and actually get help? So that like, it kind of was like, first it was like worried what people would think, and then it was kind of like, but if I help one person,
Yes.
I don't care what people think, because that's not life or death. So like what other people's opinions kind of got, we think you can't do it or it's crazy. I'm like, well, God can do anything. And I'm like, I had a huge speech impediment. Like people couldn't understand me. Like I had to go to speech therapy like in high school, in grade school, like middle school. I like left private school to go to the public school for speech therapy. And I remember doing it again I think in high school with a neighbor was a speech pathologist, and you know, so I was quiet. I didn't know, no one knew what I was saying.
But you knew what you were saying.
Well, I didn't. I remember in high school I did this whole quote book. I observed.
Cool.
Yeah. I didn't really, I guess when I was 13 I knew everything. I feel like I had that moment where I knew everything, like a lot of 13-year-olds, like 14, you're like, oh, I know everything about the world. I wish I wrote it down because I was convinced. A normal stage of development, you're like, now I'm like, you know, I've written all these different books, but now I'm like, yeah, now I'm just reading. I'm reading so much like other people's stuff, and I'm learning so much. Cause I'm like, I think I have everything I know written down. So it's learning time again.
So we talked about this, and I would say that I am neurodivergent, and I identify like that, meaning that my brain works a little bit differently. I told you I had a stroke 3 years ago, and that I've had to relearn how to talk and how to think and relearn how to share my ideas. And I wanted to see, what advice do you have for people that identify as neurodivergent?
So that's interesting because I think everyone is learning to themselves. I don't know if anyone, so one of the books, it's like everyone's like in their silo of like how they're doing and all that. But I'm like, every silo is different. So, and I think a lot of people, like with bullying, somebody's like, if you're different, you're going to get bullied. Because people just like what they're comfortable with. So it's loving who you are and how you're made, and just like trusting yourself. Like, and for me, because I was diagnosed bipolar, because I had those ups and downs. But like, that's also why I have a therapist I keep checking in on to be like, are my ideas making sense? Because I mean, if I told myself I'd write over a 500-page book and quote over 500 people, I would be like, that sounds manic. Like, that's not possible. But I'm like, I did it.
Right there, I'm looking at it.
Yeah, I didn't set out to do it, but it's done.
What is the title of that book?
Crap Happens Philosophy, the ultimate guide to hope and healing in a crap-filled world.
That's lovely.
Yeah.
When did you publish that?
I keep republishing it, so I'm always working on a new one. Because I keep learning. And I'm like, oh, that quote's so good.
So what is Crap Happens Philosophy? Who is that really good for?
People that are tired of self-help. Like that sugar-coated, like, everything's fine. Oh, you'll get over it. And I'm like, crap happens. Like, I have my little crap fact. So crap happens to us all. Life is not fair. Crap and failure are normal. You can only give what you have. Only you can change yourself. Crap does not discriminate. No one is perfect, but we each matter. It's your job to make you happy. Be kind, because everyone else is dealing with crap. And crap has unintended consequences. So, and that, the unintended consequences, it's like that goes into Freud, and like, because when you repress all your issues, it's like, talk about world problems. You know, no, everything's fine. I was actually going to wear a shirt today, but it was kind of childish. And I was like, I don't know if I want to. One day I'll be wearing more childish things for public things. Like, yeah, right now it's still kind of like making that first impression, but it was like a t-shirt, and it's everything's fine. It's like this cat that's just like fried.
That's so funny.
You know, but I'm like, that whole denial, everything's fine. Everything's fine. And you're like, no, or it's like grief. Oh, you just get over it. Like, you should be over it by now. It's like, no, like you're transformed. Like your stroke transformed who you were.
Totally.
Like, there's a before, there's an after. But I'm like, grief, losses, trauma, it transforms you. So there's a post-traumatic growth where you kind of grow through it, but you hold that, and you see it more as a part of humanity. You know, like, I think it's Ernest Hemingway's like, when you're broken, the light gets in, and
yes.
You know.
Wow. I told you yesterday, I'm like, I think you're a genius. I think you're so smart, and I just, it's lovely to meet someone like you, that you have just so many wonderful thoughts and so many wonderful ideas. And my question that we were just at one MC, 1 Million Cups, is how can me, or how can I, or how can the community help you?
That's amazing. So all my books are on Lulu.com. I think that's that website. So sharehopeart.com is a website that you can go to, and it's linked to the books and all that. People can buy the books, which would be great. I think I will end up doing videos on them, because I'm like, crap happens. It might be crap happens course, because I'm like, this is like, it's psychology, sociology, like and philosophy. Like, it really does go into all of them.
So we can go to the website, lulu.com?
Well, it's sharehopeart.com.
Sharehopeart.
Let me see if I can actually find the website that I use for lulu.com. It's like a / Spotlight JK Veers.
Okay. Spotlight JK.
Lulu.com /spotlight /JK Veers. But I linked it to sharehopeart.com. If you look up Judith Veers, it comes up, I think.
Okay, cool.
So I have a whole bunch of different books, like Beware of the Pit of Despair. I also love doing memorial art. And I love, like,
Beautiful.
so I do like painted rocks, and I do, like, I have my mom's here that, and I do dog ones too. So those, So I know I have permission to share, like, this is like not on thick paper, so that was a test run, because I usually do a really thick, nice paper.
Beautiful.
But I do,
So what is memorial art? How would you describe it?
it's not done by therapists to my knowledge, but it's helped me. So when I bought all the art supplies and things like that after the suicide, I just started buying all these art supplies, and part of me is like, crazy what I'm going to do with them. But now I am like at Healing Hearts Carol, and we can use them all. And I'm like, I've had these for 2-3 years just sitting around. But, you know, I was like, I had a vision, and I'm like, wow, it happened. Like, it grew, like, you know, memorial art could become books. So, like, you could make a book of somebody where you're sharing their stories. It can be bookmarks. It can be cards. It can be, I do magnets. I kind of want to do video too, where it's like I want to do video talking about the person where we're painting a rock, where you're sharing it. I can do, if you saw the episode, I don't know if you got to see.
It's excellent.
So it's on YouTube. So Share Hope Through Art on YouTube.
Share hope through art.
Yeah, and I don't know if you saw the images coming up. Like so, like while we're painting the rock, we can share images of your loved one. You know, where it's kind of like them going through things, but you can be sharing the story while doing something. So that's something I'd love to do, but. Because I think loss is so hard, and preserving their memories is like a way to transform it, and like continuing to learn from their life. Like I read, when somebody I know has lost somebody, I'll read that person's obituary that I never met, and I'm often like inspired. You're like, wow, what a good life, or what a tragedy, you know, that when you see suicides and overdoses, you're just like, oh gosh, like we need I feel like we've had enough that we've learned from it, where I always share, it's like, suicides and overdoses should be in history books only. Like, I think we can, I truly believe we can teach youth and ourselves to, like, use positive coping skills. And, like, one of them's, like, self-love.
Self-love.
We talk about core beliefs, and one of mine is, like, I'm human, not a robot. I'm not good. I kind of joke, if I could program myself, I would be able to do these things, but I can't.
Right. So program as I live.
Yeah, so I'm like, I kind of do the best I can. You know, if I could program myself, I'd be able to make dinner on time and it'd be hot, and you know. But like sometimes you're like, I'd be like, let's do flashcards and be excited about it. Like, it's so hard for me. I was like, I'm good at love and like emotional connection, but like some of the stuff, typical stuff, I'm like, oh.
That's cool. So if you're going to share hope through art, what is the vision of Share Hope Through Art?
I would say that's dependent on volunteers and people that step up. So like I think the TV show has so much potential, but like my career is now Healing Hearts Carol, where it's like not many people want to go get their master's and pass the test to be a therapist. Like that's a lot of, you know, we're talking like minimum 6 years and of extra after, you know, high school. Whereas the TV show, like people could take that and do it, or they can just share their own positive message. Like anyone that's like sharing online, like positive, I was like, that's part of it. Like where you're sharing hope, like just putting that positivity out there. Anyone can paint a positive hope rock and leave it out. There's Suicide Prevention Rocks is another nonprofit that's I learned about after we already started painting rocks. Someone shared about it. Oh, they do it. So it's not an original idea, but like painting positive rocks to leave out. It's good for you to know you're doing something. It's good for people to find it. Making cards for the hospital, for behavioral health wards, for people that are in treatment centers where you're just like, you can do it, it gets better. You know, good job getting help. You know, good job taking care of yourself. You're worth it. You know, making those inspirational cards are good for the person making them because you're like contributing, and there's like research that actually helps with depression and all those things. And it's good for the person receiving it that somebody cares. There's in Carroll County we also have things that get mailed out to active duty soldiers.
Yes.
You know, so I'm kind of like, because they're at high risk when they get back or while they're there.
Totally.
For mental health issues. So it's kind of like you can do something not affiliated with me. I'm like, it's not. I don't like tracking. I did try to track numbers, and it's about like heart and changing it. So like, I don't need to know when you do great things. Like just do them. It's about, you know, like people are having a hard time, so like hold the door for somebody. Be nice to people at registers.
Cool.
You know.
I would think imagine just you as a positivity ambassador.
Yes.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So everything you do and everything you support is positivity.
Yeah.
Whether it's through art or through your books or your work. You're just a positivity ambassador. I don't think I've ever met one of those.
I think you have. I was like, you know Tina and Eric from
All right.
Behind Sides and Infinite Love.
I know.
I was like, no, we have similar friends.
A couple others.
And I think there's more.
That's
Carroll,
beautiful.
Westminster and like Carroll County have some great
Yeah,
people.
that's true.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know, we may have to make a list. We
Well,
may have to.
If people in the community want to learn more about you and your work, where do they go?
ShareHerBar.com has stuff. HealingHeartsCarroll.com is where I work, but that just kind of has. And so the neat thing is my boss is like, if it has to do with mental health, go for it.
Cool.
So I'm like, I want to know the needs. Like, I'm like, what do we need? Okay, let's plan it. Because groups, I'm like, we can, you know, I would love to have people like buy scholarships so people that want to go that can't somehow do.
Nice.
I haven't worked that out yet, but
I'll help you.
kind of, yeah. We're just starting off with like, we're doing our first open house on Friday this week.
Wow.
Yeah.
Tell me more about that. Where can people go? How do they get there?
It's just from like 8 to 3:30. You Westminster, Maryland, and go to you park near like the corner. Like I don't know what that's called. Like the center of the L shape. So not the center. It's upstairs in the professional center. So it's like near Papa Joe's.
Good.
And yeah, you just come upstairs and you'll see the door because we're the first door. Like when you come through that walkway.
You just look for. Is there like a sign?
Yeah, there's a little sign.
Excellent. Thank you so much. This is excellent.
You're excellent. I love that you do this. I was like, so yeah, because then you're like, I had a hard time and I just wanted to share good stuff on media, and I was like, me too.
Yes, but essentially, but it's not even like the good stuff I'm doing. I edit the audio, but you're doing the work. You know what I mean? I edit the audio.
So I edited the TV show,
See?
and that was a lot of work. So I don't think you give yourself enough credit. You edit the audio, you put the show on, you organize it all. It's a lot of credit.
I love it.
Yeah.
You're great.
So are you.
Yay!
That was awesome.
Yes!
Good
You did
job.
wonderful.
Thank you.
I'm a huge fan of yours.
I'm a fan of yours.
Oh,
I was like, if we end up doing a TV show, that'd be so
that'd be
fun.
fabulous.
I know.
Easy
Like,
peasy.
we are Carol.
We are Carol.
Yeah,
I
so
forgot
that's-
to ask. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
So, what got you started with the Community Foundation of Carroll County?
A lot of closed doors. Oh my gosh. It was so discouraging. Everyone was like, no, we can't, like, because what I wanted was not tangible. I want to use art for suicide prevention, because what we're doing isn't working. And, you know, well, no, we don't want to, like, I went to this one church, and like, no, we don't want to do that. Like, you know, and I kind of was like, I just, like, felt that was the church to do it. And then I went to another, like, nonprofit. No, that's not really what we do. And, you know, we don't serve, because I'm like, what ages do you want to serve? I'm like, everybody.
Right.
All ages. I want to be, you know, if I wasn't a therapist, like, I'd love to see, like, volunteers or interns going into nursing homes to make art and be positive, you know, like, you know, going into daycares to, like, make projects so that the kids can take home to their parents to, like, build families up, you know, so I'm like, no, all ages.
So then you met Jackie with Eyes.
So somebody was like, go to the Community Foundation of Carroll County. And I was like, okay. But I was so used to closed doors, I like didn't even have hope that it would work. And they're like, sure, we'd love to have you. And I was like, they're like, you just need a mission statement and like $5 to put down.
Yeah.
And then, you know, like, I was like, okay. And then I'm just like, waiting for like the ball to drop, and it didn't. And yeah, they're fabulous. And like, what a great group of people. Like, so they make like your nonprofit and your dreams like come true so easily. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many, and how many funds do you think they have?
I know it's like maybe 400, something
Yeah,
crazy.
it's well over 350. I think
Yes.
last time I checked.
Yes.
And a lot of them are memorial funds. So it's like, you know, you take that awful situation and you make it into something positive, where you're like still preserving their memory and all that. And there's so many where you're just kind of like Rita's Closet. You're like, what a tragedy that a teenager died in a car accident. And there was like a prom dress or something in the bag. Or I don't know if she was wearing it or what. And now they have like the shop in the mall where you buy their stuff and it goes to scholarships. And you know, there's just so many like that. I have it in my one book, but I'm like, it's post-traumatic growth.
Yes.
You know, where you're like, still hurts, but look what grew from it too. Like, look at all these outreaches. Look at all this good it did.
That's cool. What advice do you have for someone that's like you, that's like, you know, I don't know where to start? Why would you recommend the CFCC?
They make it all possible. They make it possible. It's like the, I always forget what it is. Carroll Media, the Community Media Center of Carroll County. I think that's the way it goes. If you want to do a TV show, they make it all possible.
Cool.
They teach you how to set up a camera and a tripod and how to turn it on and put microphones on and then how to edit it. And you're like, I can't do any of this. And then, Rachel, you're going to meet today, and I'm so excited because she'll walk you through it. And you're like, no, but I don't know how to do this. This is not a skill set. Oh, yeah, it's fine. Like, she's just like, like, and I feel like she makes me a better parent because she'll like sit back peacefully and like tell you how to do it. Because like for like homework with kids, I'm like, come on, you can do it. All right, let me write down the letters and now you add them. And like, no, she would be like, all right, draw the lines. You can do it. Hit this button and that button. You can do it. She like stands back and like talks to you like a calm voice, and I'm like, I'm so slow on this, like, you know.
If you were gonna say one like reason why you love the CFCC, like I know because this is the We Are Carroll project. So why do you love the Carroll County? I love CFCC because
they make games possible. I mean, they make like your outreach that you're like, and I think a lot of people it's just so overwhelming. Because if you don't know how have somebody to file like a 501c3 status and like a board of directors and have the funding to do meetings and all those steps to get legit, like when I was selling books before, so I haven't really done any, I've just been writing, but like people would just deposit online to my account and then I just give them a book. Because you know, cash, I would just put I'd write it down and then I deposit it like a form, and then when I like want to reimburse something, I do a little reimbursement form, and it's all tracked, and there's no like gray area, there's no like, it's just like, oh, and if people are like, oh, can I donate? You're like, here's a link.
Good.
Yeah, so you don't have to set up a new bank account and they track it all, and you can like log into your fund. Like, it's just, yeah, it's a lot of work they do that like you don't have to. You know.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's awesome.
Aw, you did really good. Your brain is fabulous.
So is yours.
I went to, so I.
Well, should I turn this one off?
If you want.
Bye. And I think you're kind of cut off. I was like, not
I was mostly cut off. I don't even.